Someone once told me that homesteading is inefficient. You know what? They're right. Or well, at least sometimes they're right. Some things are more efficient. You come out on top financially, but other things not so much. It was a video on this still here. We have a still that we have on our homestead. We have a federal fuel permit for it. We have the serial number inscribed on the still, and we keep our paperwork and we keep our filings in case the government ever wants to, come by and check. And I get it. Some people don't want any part of that, and I understand that. That's totally fine. But when you're going to do videos on something that is federally regulated, you better make sure you have all your paperwork lined up. So we choose to do that. And we got this still from Claw Hammer Supply. And if you want to check them out, you can just Google Claw Hammer Supply and check out their stills. They have a number of products I think would definitely benefit you. They're not why I'm doing this video today. A comment was left on this video where we did an unboxing of this still when we first got it, and pointed out to us, which I already figured, was inefficient. Once you go through the process of, harvesting your grain or whatever you're going to be making your fuel from, and then distill it, you're going to get such a small product that it's not worth your money. And I get it, it's totally true. Once you go to the store and you buy a gallon of gasoline, there's no comparison. There's a very famous story of a guy who lived in Sarajevo, Bosnia. And during the War of Bosnia, this guy fed his family and traded and got goods for his family because he had a still. And what he was doing was he was going back and he was tapping pine trees in his backyard, and he was distilling that into usable fuel because most of the engines over there were diesel engines and they could process that fuel. And he was trading that fuel for people to use in their cars because fuel, you just couldn't get it in Sarajevo back during the War of Bosnia in the mid-1990s. And so he was feeding his family by trading this fuel that he was making with a still and putting food on the table and getting the things that his family needed. It's a prep. I have often said in my videos that homesteading is the ultimate survival prep. If you're into preparedness, homesteading, if you push preparedness to its logical conclusion, you will end up on a homestead. Having a still is a prep. It's not efficient, not in the system that we have today. But if the time comes where you need to make your own fuel, or you need to be able to trade for goods and services, perhaps used for trade or barter, you can use this for a lot of things that people will trade and barter for. Does that make sense? It's the same with gardening today. You can make this case for almost anything. A potato. A potato is a very cheap vegetable that you can buy at the store. It's completely pointless, in fact, to grow your own potatoes, because once you do the time, effort, and the planting and the harvesting and the preparing the soil, you could have gone and got your potatoes at the store for so much cheaper of a price than all the time and money and effort you spent into planting and harvesting a potato or a field of potatoes, on your own. Because the commercial success in America that we have for potatoes just completely outweighs your efforts in growing your own. Why do people do it? They do it for a lot of reasons. For experience. They do it for the experience of growing their own potatoes. They do it because they want to make sure that their potatoes aren't sprayed. Potatoes also, even though they're one of the cheapest vegetables that you can find, root vegetables you can find in the supermarket, they're also some of the most heavily sprayed. And that's because once you pull a potato out of the ground, it will begin to sprout. And so they spray it with all kinds of chemicals. Number one, to keep all the potato bugs and everything off the plants when they're growing. But then also in the stores, so they don't sprout in the stores and look ugly. They want potatoes to be nice and round and oblong shaped like a potato without all the little roots coming out of it. And so they spray it heavily. And so people will grow their own potatoes because they want their potatoes to not have any chemicals on them. And so people grow it for that purpose. But see, once you establish the skill of growing a potato, you can grow potatoes. If you ever had to grow potatoes, you could grow them. You wouldn't if there ever comes a time in a day where you can't buy your potatoes at the store, you can feel confident because you've done it. You have that experience. You have learned by doing. You can grow your own potatoes. And see, that is valuable. That's worth its weight in gold. Green beans is another one that comes up. This is a can of organic green beans from Walmart, or at least organic. Walmart says they're organic. You don't know. There's nothing on this label that says where it was grown or who harvested it or what methods they used. You don't know that. You're just trusting. You're trusting the FDA, or USDA, to have told the truth that these are in fact organic green beans, and so you feel better about buying them. But are they really? You don't know. They could be. They may not. They may not be. But see, part of the effort, part of the value of your effort of growing your own green beans is to know what's in them. To know what's in them. That is valuable. But see, green beans are really cheap. I mean, you can buy a regular can of green beans, non-organic, for like 50 cents or less, depending on where you go. 50 cents. But see, when you take the time of putting all those green beans in the soil and caring for them, manicuring that soil, and then finally harvesting them, processing them, canning them, and when you think about the cost of all the jars, all the lids, all the propane that all the energy that you use to actually can them and seal those cans to put them on your shelf, you could have just got a can of green beans for 50 cents at Walmart. Now, the organic ones are a little bit more expensive, but not much. So do you see? Yeah, it's inefficient to grow your own green beans, but the experience and the knowledge that you have gained because you took the time to learn by doing, worth the weight in gold. Worth its weight in gold. You have learned something. You have made yourself better by learning how to make your own green beans and can your own green beans. That to me is amazing. So yeah, there are things about homesteading that are inefficient. Why do we do them? It's a learning process. We're learning some things that our ancestors have learned that we have forgotten. And one of the big reasons we moved off grid, and I always have to remind people of this, is because you look at the world today, you look at the financial system today, I believe it's on the verge of collapse. I can do simple math, I know basic economics, and I know history, because history tells us when societies empires rise and fall. And so I want to be able to do some of these things myself and feel good about what I'm doing, have confidence in my abilities. Yeah. I can grow my own green beans. I can can my own green beans. I can make my own fuel, among other things, if I have to. I can, grow a potato. I can grow a tomato. I can grow cucumbers. Because I've done it before, I feel confident in my abilities, and that is valuable. So yes, to our commenter over at our unboxing our still video, yes, many aspects of homesteading are inefficient. But what is it you're actually gaining from all this? All right, guys. See you next time on The Homestead. Bye. Hey, guys, we know that a lot of our audience are homeschoolers. Homeschooling here is very important to us. And if you're like us, maybe you've had a hard time training your youngsters to memorize their times tables. Well, I want to introduce you to a program today that I think will help with that. This is Times Tables. It's perfect for small children. At age 7, my youngest son has his multiplication tables memorized. All of them. Times Tales is a series of stories that your child learns in a video. The video presents a simple story that your child can easily recall from memory and assist them in easily remembering the multiplication facts. My late wife Jamie made a video talking about how our oldest child still was having problems with times table memorization. Until we tried Times Tales. After months of getting behind and stressful struggling, Times Tales was almost an overnight correction and allowed him to get back on track with his math courses. So I want you to give this a try. They have different packages available, and there's going to be a link in the description below. Every purchase you make from this program is going to help the homestead. Give it a try. It worked for us. I'm sure it can work for you and your child too.
I know my math facts.
Hey there. Thanks for watching our channel. If you're looking for great off-grid homesteading videos, this is the channel for you. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to like the video you just watched. You can also feel free to send us your questions by going to anamericanhomestead.com on our contact page and send me your question. Your question might get made into a video. In the meantime, check out some of these other great videos. Oh wait, go ahead and click them. Go ahead.